doggone it. I can't hear you. I know that.
Trisha, unmute.
That's from Zoom, and I am not muted.
That's Diane, and she's talking about on Zoom.
I know. So Carol will work on that one. Thank you, Diane.
Diane.
I love to keep us on track.
Yay.
We need feedback. Don't we all need feedback?
Yes.
We're gonna get a lot of that this month because the body is part of what gives you your feedback system.
Right.
So this is gonna be a wonderful month for that.
Hi, Diane.
Okay. So now, Diane, can you hear us now? Nod.
She's muted.
She needs to nod. She waves her hand. She knows what she's doing. Okay. If you would join with me, please, for our invocation. In this moment, in this place, there is only the presence, the one life that is living through each one of us. It is the Creator creating creation, moment by moment by moment. This is how life is lived, moment by moment by moment. The one life living in, through, and And in this morning, in this space, we are gathered as a community to be the embodiment of that one life and that one love. Open to the movement of spirit through words, through relationship, through music, through our lives. And I give thanks for everyone who is in the room, who is in the Zoom room, who is in the universe, because all of you are why we are here. And I specifically have great gratitude for the volunteers and our senior minister for being the living presence of the one amongst us. And for this I give great thanks. And so it is. I should probably introduce myself at some point too, huh? Well,
Yes, you are.
I am the Reverend Patricia Van Workum, and I am your Associate Minister.
There it is.
And it's time for our readings. So let me do our readings. All the readings today are from Ernest Holmes. The first is, our body is part of the kingdom of God. Therefore, there is a spiritual pattern at the center of it. And then body expresses intelligence. Its apparent intelligence being lent by the consciousness which permeates it. And then my absolute favorite. Since we cannot walk on the water, we take a boat. Or an aspirin.
I love
Isn't that wonderful?
that.
Before we hear from our beloved Senior Minister, Reverend Sharon Dunn, we also have our beloved Jennifer Boomer giving us live music. Most of us know Jennifer because she was our previous music director, and we used to delight in her every week. Now we get her on special occasions, which makes it even more special to have her here today with us. So Jennifer, please, if you would, join us and share your gift.
Give us a little of what you're up to with your music.
Oh, yeah. Well, is this on? Yes.
You get to plug.
Well, first of all, it's so nice to be back here. It literally feels like time warp.
Yeah.
Let's do the time
I was
warp.
just thinking that.
But yeah, it's like, but of course I've never played in this space, but just to see your faces again, it's like, oh, I feel like I've been through 3 lifetimes since we saw each other last, since I played for you guys. I think we all have, right? Phew. So musically, I'm still plugging along with the musical. I'm going to play a song from that later, The Flower Story. I'm collaborating with a playwright now who's helping me to bring it to its fullest potential as a really rich story with backstories of the characters and all that. So that's exciting. I'm recording another album called Life Journey. I have like 13 or 14 songs on that album, and another spiritual songs album. So the song that I'm playing right now is actually on that album. So a lot of the songs that I played, the CSLs, I'm going to put together, sort of compile for this special spiritual songs album.
Nice.
So that's what's happening with me, guys. And so this song is actually sort of special because I wrote it right before everything shut down. I wrote it at the beginning of 2020, and I actually played it in our other venue. Played it one time, never played it again. But I'm going to play it for you now. So it's called My Body is My Temple. My body is my temple. I go there every day to pray. Inside each sacred room with my spirit in me. No broken parts can be in the wholeness. It's all I can see. And I am in the light that fills my space so bright. I am in the light that fills my space so bright. Within, within, wholeness within, healing within, spirit, spirit within.
Let's give her another hand. So I just want to take you all in. This is amazing. Okay, we're done. To see Stephanie and Margie and Erica and Pam, and I feel like Romper Room. I see Jaime and Jennifer.
They never said my name on Romper Room, so thank you.
I see Marty. I just feel like with you here, I just feel like I want to keep going. You know, I want to keep doing what we're doing, and to start and build a center and be hit by so many things, and to keep going is about staying in principle. It's a faith walk. It's am I really supposed to be a minister? Am I really doing the right thing? Am I the one? Am I? And I am that I am. And so are all of you. And it feels like family. Like, some of us don't get along all the time. But we keep coming back because we love each other. Isn't that kind of family? So I'm so happy you're here and for you to come out in the rain and show up. Keeps me going. Yeah. So I'm really excited about the theme this month. You know, we have a theme for the year, which is Living Everyday Wonder. And so every month we have a theme for the month to support that theme. And so last month it was emotions, and glad that's over. Maybe not. But this month is body, the body. And I think it's funny. You may not know, but I'm getting married in August. So I said yes to the dress, right? Which means that it's like T24 to the first fitting, and that's the body fitting in the dress. So don't you think it's kind of funny that it's the body this month? Because it's all about the body. And so anyway, we're going to talk about the body, and I have to stay in this like realm apparently. So, and you know me, I'm all over the place, both mentally and physically. So we're going to talk about welcome to the temple. That's our topic for today. And this month, again, we're going to talk about the magnificent creation of the body. And what I really liked about this particular topic in the notes is that it holds the body as a temple. We've heard that yada, yada, yada so many times, the body's a temple. But I really kind of heard it for the first time this week in a different way. that it really is a divine temple. And how do we treat it? Because yes, it's the body temple, but I never put together how I treat the temple. Does that make sense? Like if this is really a divine temple, how do I respect the divinity of this body? And I didn't really put it all together. And it's helping me look at my body respectfully this month because it's a focus for me this month. And this struck me. The body is not an apology. The body, my body is not an apology. Can you say that with me? My body is not an apology. Because I do the thing, you know. And we'll get into the thing I do. And then maybe you will be willing to go with me into the thing you do with that. So 3 things, my body, myself, which is actually the name of a book that I gave my kids when they hit puberty. Because they didn't apparently want to have a talk with me. I'd be like, let's talk about your... So I found this book that would help me, and believe me, that book had so many turned down pages and rips and dirty hands, and it was a very well used book. We're going to look at my body, myself, cleansing the temple, and think a little bit about Jesus. Jesus. And last, my body is divinely created. So the principle I'm using, principle means what is true for all. Joy, light, love, harmony, peace, abundance. And our founder, Ernest Holmes, Dr. Ernest Holmes, wrote our Declaration of Principles, which is what we believe. So if people are ever asking you, well, what do you got? Your books are a little weird. What do you believe? We can hand them that. So every time I speak, I like to bring one of those principles in that relates to this topic. And I found the very first, which is, we believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existing cause. Now, as I read this, let me start that again. I want you to think about, if my body is divine, everything I say today is going to connect that divinity to the physical. Does that make sense? So, within me, within this body, is the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existing cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation. So it is manifesting through my body. But it is not absorbed in its creation. So when we leave our body, we move on with our soul, or the imprint of spirit that is never going to die, right? The manifest universe is the body of God. So everything we see is the body of God, including this. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. So this is what I pieced together this week, is the self-knowingness that my body is divine. That my body temple is not just to know that it's a body temple, but it's to know, how do I behave in the temple? So when I go to here or anywhere sacred, I look at that as like, wow. Do I look at this as like, wow? Not so much. Not always, but yes. So we're going to do this month, right? Are you with me, Beth?
Yes.
Let's do this whole different way of looking. Let's do this. So my body, myself, we know this as well. The body is the one thing we have control over. And you'll know that from acting out, from people acting out when nothing in their world is controllable, when they have no control over anything at all, you'll notice that people will act out possibly through their body. Cutting, anorexia, eating disorders, whatever. I don't know if you can relate to any of that, but I eat my feelings. Delish. Thank you. In fact, I'm a gourmet. Anyway. And so I think what we might forget when we're thinking about our bodies is the spiritual aspect of the physical. Like there's the physical and there's the spiritual. Isn't this funny? They don't go together, right? I mean, they don't. I don't think of them all the time as together, as one.
Right.
I think there's me being spiritual, and then there's me trashing my body. Because that's physical. I'll get that together. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But oh, I say my prayers. And oh, I do my good deeds. But how do I treat my body? I mean, I hope it's okay if I, speak personally, because
We're all with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to scare you. But our bodies are magnificent and magical conduits for God and our consciousness, and ought to be celebrated for the way they allow us to experience the world in which we live. At first, it was our bodies are magnificent and magical conduits between God and our consciousness, and I thought, no, there's no between. It's really hard to imagine oneness, isn't it? It's almost like we can't see that unless we see this. And so it's kind of hard to see the difference between this and that as one. But this month, we're really going to focus on the temple. And again, when we look at our bodies, I don't know if you ever compare yourself to anyone else.
No, never.
Excuse me?
Never.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
How about those Victoria's Secret angels? With a flat stomach and a cute little this and
And the big Layla.
excuse me? What was that I heard from the audience? So we teach in Science of Mind that everything exists, it does so in order that the divine may fully express itself. So if the divine fully expressed itself as you, do you have an opinion about that? If the divine, the artist, the creator, created you as it wanted to express you, are you in agreement? Are you like, I'm good with that? You did good. I like it. Thank you. Anybody?
Some
Some of you look worried out there. Okay. So rather than compare it to another or disparage it, what if we each loved our body for being the unique and wonderful thing that it is? Let's do that. So I want to digress a little bit. There's a lot of reasons that we can buy into cultural bias. Me personally, there's a thing called ageism. Have you heard of it? Ageism. I feel John Lennon. I'm gonna talk about there's so many names for our bodies, so many biases, how we're supposed to look, what we're supposed to look. The other day I was watching this commercial, and it was really engaging, and it was about this face cream that could get rid of wrinkles. And I thought, what is wrong with wrinkles? Don't we all wrinkle? Good God. And then I went into this thrift store, and this beautiful woman who was running the store, and I had a conversation, and I said, you know, you have a lot of long sleeve shirts in here. It's summer, I need shirts that aren't long sleeve. She says, well, I'm sorry, but the women that shop in this store want to cover up their arms. Come on, guys, you know this. Don't act like you first heard this today. Okay? But, you know, don't leave me out here by myself. So this idea of ageism is prejudice or discrimination on the grounds of a person's age. Prejudice or discrimination. You know, there's actually discrimination, like you can't do this anymore because you're old. Luckily, ministry is the opposite. It's like most of us are elderly. Most of us are seniors because unless you're enlightened, like the young ones that are coming up through the works now who are so enlightened, you know, it takes a while to get it together, right? At least for me. And but ageism plays a part in anything where you are in front of the camera, you know, like newscasting or acting or roles. I mean, we have these amazing actors who do such beautiful work, but at the end of their career, they have to be a 5 Academy Award winner before they're going to get a part. We literally have so many cultural biases. I don't want to ask this, but I kind of just wonder, when I'm talking about these different things, are you guilty? You know, not because I want to nail you to the wall. It's more a question of, can you relate to this? Can you relate, and what can we do about it? Okay? And what we can do about it is our teaching. But where does teaching start? I love bringing the teaching out in the world and doing nothing inside for it. You know, that's my favorite part. You know, just get up there and preach, and then not exactly, you know, practice. So there's 3 types of ageism. Institutional ageism, which occurs when an institution perpetuates ageism through its actions and policies. Second is interpersonal ageism, which occurs in social interactions. I notice sometimes in my family, for example, where they kind of discount me, not only because I'm short and getting shorter, but because, you know, she's old-fashioned. She's just an old hippie. That's another talk, though, the hippie. That will be like later in the month. And the third one is internalized ageism, which is when a person internalizes ageism beliefs and applies them to themselves. Guilty. You know, as you know, I've been widowed after 45 years of marriage, and it's almost 4.5 years now since Chris made his transition. And I've fallen in love, and I'm getting married. And the first thing I thought was, when he asked me to marry him, was, we'll just have a small little intimate thing, and I won't wear white, you know, I'll just be, you know, I've done that, I've had the big love affair, you know, I've had the big wedding, I'm too old. And I've told you this story before when the topic was something like say yes to something, and I gave you the whole story about saying yes to dress, where my bridal party took me to David's bridal, to the most god-awful. Turned out wonderful because I made a change of mind. But at first, it was very traumatic because of all my bias. I couldn't give myself the joy of just being present because I felt like this might be awkward, you know. I'm not the fill in the blanks, right? And I went with it. You know, they hid us around the corner and gave me a kind of a private thing, so there wasn't a lot of horn blowing and people clapping and all of that. I did hold a sign up, yeah, you know, say yes to the dress. And, but what I was doing in the moment, because I'm practiced, because I'm spiritually practiced, is I held multiple truths simultaneously. I'm uncomfortable and I deserve this. I'm uncomfortable and I deserve this. And I knew better than to dwell on I'm uncomfortable because I'm practiced. So I deserve this, I deserve this, I deserve this, I deserve this. It was kind of like giving birth to a child. You know it's good, it just doesn't feel good. And then I went to San Diego, and my wedding photographer is my daughter-in-law. She's very good, very famous in San Diego, and she's amazing. And she did engagement photos. And some of them I posted on Facebook, and I'm sure you've seen them if you go on Facebook. And I looked at that, and I thought, wait a minute. Now, she's a genius. But that was me in the photo. It was me. It looked like me. It looked like Larry. But it gave me this confidence that I can defy ageism in my consciousness. This is beautiful. Love is beautiful. We have an infinite power. We call love. We say that love is infinite, no bounds. We say that we can embody principle. We say that we are here only for one reason, and that is to embody these principles, to be love in the world, to be loved in the world, to feel lovable, to then be able to love. So what am I doing if I can't see myself as beauty, the principle, as love, the principle? Why am I here? Why am I, and these photos. In fact, I wrote to her and I said, you've given me confidence to do the one thing I want to do while I'm here, which is to live my life authentically. My life, sorry, not your life of me. My life of me. Meaning what you think of me is none of my business, right? Meaning I want you to approve of me, meaning I want you to love me, but that's not my impetus, that's not my motivation. Who doesn't want to be accepted? Who doesn't want to feel a sense of belonging? Look at us right now, here, we belong. Each one of us to each other, regardless of circumstance, situation, and condition, and things that happen. We go to the love that we have for one another. We go to that place. And so I thought, I want to have a wedding. If she can make me look like that, well, I'll be damned. I'm going to have a wedding, and I'm going to have the wedding that makes me feel like, wow, kind of like when I got my master's degree, I was 60 years old. And I remember my son sitting in the audience, and I was like, and he came up to me and he said, Mom, if you can do that, I can do that. And so if we keep, if we keep getting out there, this is Pride Month. And it's getting to the point now, if you notice, that Pride Month is something that a lot of people are celebrating. A lot of allies are celebrating. I have a niece who threw a pride party and is a heterosexual woman in a relationship and had her kids all painted and is teaching us that, yes, get out there and be proud and be who we are authentically. And for me, I am engaged, and I am only engaged for a few more weeks. And I'm going to be engaged every second. And I'm going to feel like I should be engaged. And engaged in my engagements. Right? And this is the way we can be this month with our bodies. Thinking of it as a divine temple made by the one that made you. How dare you desecrate it? Which brings me to Jesus. Do you remember in Scripture the cleansing of the temple? John 2:15. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he had these small cords that he was slashing, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money. Remember, in the temple, it was being used for like gambling and selling and overthrew the tables and said unto them that sold doves, which was apparently, I'm going to sell this beautiful bird and you're going to give me money for it, right? And said unto them, take these things hence, make not my Father's house a house of merchandise. Now, couldn't you say that to yourself? Make not my Creator's house a disgrace. Make not my Creator's house a desecration, a shaming. Wrinkles are my best friend. And Jesus, here it is in Matthew 21, a little bit different, right? And Jesus went into the temple of God and cast out all them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers, and the seats of them that sold doves, and said unto them, it is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. So, can you say with me, my house is a house of prayer. My house is a house of prayer. This is my house. Now, have you looked at it this way, or is it just me? I mean, it's going to get to the point where if we kind of, a lot of these conditioning are conditions, cultural biases, we don't even think about them. These are the beliefs we talk about, like when you have an old belief and you don't even think about it anymore because you've moved on to what, creating new beliefs for your system, for your system. These old beliefs, we don't challenge them, we don't think about them. Could we this month just think about the body and all of the old beliefs that we have, that this isn't okay, that isn't okay? And my stomach, it pooches out a little bit in that blouse. I think I'll put the other blouse on, which I did this morning. I'm not perfect. I'm a work in progress. But it's like that. Is this coming home to anybody? Please? Just okay, thank you. So many of us live in a state of discord with our bodies. No?
Yes.
Cleansing the temple, body shaming. Anybody heard of body shaming? Anybody do body shaming? No, just me? Oh, there's one. Two. Okay, wow. Unreasonable beauty standards. I'm thinking. I think that's a good one. How about holding on to aches and pains that want to tell us something important? When it's Reverend Patricia's time to talk, she gets to talk about trauma in the body, which is our book of the month, which is my favorite topic, trauma in the body, because trauma does live in the body. Scientifically, we know this. And I had an experience in my relationship this week where we had an emotional exchange, which is very few and far between to have differences. But we had our differences, and we needed to talk about it. And I know for a fact now that trauma lives in my body, and when I have a reaction to something, it's something deeper. And so I went, why am I reacting to this? And I got to talk out loud with him. And I said, I know that if I'm reacting like this, and you know, a reaction is not only in the moment, but I don't know if you've ever had the experience of tapes playing on, blah, 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 blah. Why am I thinking about that again and rehearsing it again? And then I try to find different ways to end the video, and it doesn't, and it comes back again, and I'm doing the dishes, and it's back again. It's me mulling something over that needs to be processed. And knowing, because I am in practice, that this has something to do with something deeper. And so I thought, well, what could that have to do with that? And I got to piece it together and say, you know, I just want you to know that I'm not going to apologize for an overreaction. Rather, I'm going to explain the overreaction, that the overreaction was because it was packed with old stuff. And then I got to share the old stuff. And of course that brought tears to my eyes because what? Those things are in the body, they're very emotional. They have feelings attached to them. I went through all that last month. Big feelings. And once I got it out, it was this, it felt like when it was raining, and then it felt like the sky opened and it stopped raining and a rainbow hit, and I felt like this lightness because I excavated out of the body by the power of my word to my lover, who went, now I'm going to know. Now I'm going to know that that isn't going to work for you. And why? And that helps me to not feel like I don't know what's going on, and so I make up my own story. And I make up my own beliefs, and then that's going to live in my body. And what a mess it all is being in a relationship. Relationships are the fastest way to self, yes? So the messages that we send our body with our minds, whether that it's good enough, because you know it is going to stay there until we process it out. And speaking of relationship, being in relationship is any relationship with another human being. So you can literally speak to someone, a practitioner, a minister, your best friend, someone safe, and say, you know, I had this relationship over here, and I did this thing, and it didn't feel good. I'd like to see what do you think? I think it has to do with, and just process that with someone. Work through that. You know, those beliefs are really important to get out of our bodies. Because why? Because they create symptoms. And as we know, those things that we have, I'm looking at Linda because Linda and I have had the trauma not too long ago, of not only taking care of an alien spouse, and being in that panic, but then to actually be in that experience of the threshold when that spouse gets their wings. And that lives deep. That lives so deep. And I have to honor that, because that lives in me. And that's not going anywhere. But what can happen with it to help me along is to understand that. Is to know that that lives in me, and that I need to be very careful not to touch the mic. I need to be careful with that. I need to be careful with that room in the temple, that sacred place. And I need to take care of myself, because the symptoms, am I right? The symptoms can be overwhelming. Yes. And if I'm not careful, it can hurt the body. It can literally hurt the body. So these traumas, we must be careful. Some we can evict. Good work, necessary, wonderful. And some we cannot. Some we cannot. And yet, in the understanding and the care, I believe I believe that Linda and Reverend Patricia went and had a spa day all yesterday, that they could probably give a sermon about why it felt so spiritually activating to have a spa day, to be touched and massaged and cared for. It almost, I'm sure there's like such an emotional feeling that it brings tears and like, wow, this is deep work. This is deep work. So our bodies are not living machines, are they? What are they? They are temples of God. Can we agree to that today? And can we think about, and rather than being disappointed in the body, I get a little disappointed. Can't walk up that hill. If I sit too long, it's like my body thinks I've died. And rigor mortis has set in, and I'm like, and I get up and I'm like, so there's a point where I can literally get disappointed. It's like, come on, let's get that left hip going. I fell in the street in San Diego visiting my grandchildren onto the gravel. Falling is not an option. And so it's taking me quite a bit of time to heal. And so what has happened? I've had more relationships with my left femur than I have in my whole life. Which is part of acknowledging the body is to literally pay attention to it and do silly things like check in with the third toe on your right foot. Right now, move it. Like, when is the last time you said hello to the third toe on your left foot? Oh, I'm doing the right foot, but right or left, no worries. And so there's ways that you can find ways and share with each other ways that you literally pay attention to your bodies this month, and that you actually honor them. You literally honor them. So I'm going to get to this last point, which is our bodies are divinely created, which I've been kind of talking about. And I'm so excited about the affirmation this week. The affirmation this week is, my body is the house of the divine on earth. Isn't that wonderful? Say that with me. My body is the house of the divine on earth. Isn't that beautiful? Even if we just walked around and said that. Because I have a tendency to find what's wrong with it. I don't really give attention to what's right with it. It's like we as humans can be in this experience where everything goes right, except that one thing. It's that one thing that person said. We perseverate on that one thing, or do we not?
Yes. Yeah.
So be mindful of these things, that there is actually an opportunity for us to find what is right with my body. And I'm thinking, my body is amazing. I'm getting married. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about my body. I can see. Yes, I have trifocals and I'm legally blind, but I still can see. I can speak. I can walk. I can talk. I can think, I can love, I can be loved, I can fish, I can boat. The body, your body is perfect exactly how it is. Remember when I always say, the first reason I got into this teaching was I walked into Reverend Edwards' church and he said, you are perfect, complete, and whole, right here, right now. And I went, what? I've been a sinner my whole life. What are you talking about? Dude! And so I've always thought I am perfect, complete, and whole in spirit. Until this week, did I think I am perfect, complete, and whole in my body right here and right now. And it is the expression of God, and God is well pleased. care what the media says. I don't care what the conditioned mind is. I don't care what race consciousness thinks, which is Ernest Holmes' description of the global consciousness, our human race thought, which brings disease if we're all believing in it, right? Dis-ease. So your body is a divine tool that is absolutely vibrating with the flow of source. Vibrating. It's an energy body. This is an energy body. How can you look towards your body as a friend? How about a partner? You know, it's never too late to have a relationship. And it's never too late to consider the body worthy of being in a relationship with your soul. And you know what happens with this? As we excavate everything unlike that idea, we get healthier, younger, more beautiful, and not in terms of society's idea of this. But I think sometimes that I have come to a place in my life that I'm absolutely my best right now. And I look at pictures of me when I was younger, which is kind of funny because I can show somebody a picture of me when I was younger and they're like, who is that? Well, I feel really like I am practiced. I am practiced. To have a healthy relationship with our bodies, we look after our needs and really integrate our big self with our body, having more stable and more fulfilling lives. We are better able to adapt as we have a friend right there within us. You got a friend in me, is there a song? Right? And here's the last thing. Instead of looking at our body as separate from us, linking it together with our big self and taking good care of it, listening to it and respecting it, make all the difference. So so when we talk about living in principle, we're good at it in mind, aren't we? I got that. I know. I can recite the science of mind. I can teach, actually, the science of mind. I'm a badass. But I never really thought about relating principle to just this. And if I had, I wouldn't have done a lot of things, or thought a lot of things, or felt a lot of things that I have. Let us pray. So let's throw out into the room, into prayer, that what we're ready to let go of as far as body image or body beliefs right now. Anybody? Old.
Fat.
Fat.
Wrinkled.
Wrinkled, thank you.
Weak.
Weak.
Aching.
Aching.
Because
Damaged.
trauma.
Trauma. Sister, right there. Okay? So I have some good news. There is a power greater than we are that we can use. And let's call it love, light, harmony, peace, joy, abundance, wholeness. And let's know that we are made of that. Let's know that not only are we made of that, but that is connects us to each other. My body to your body, to their body, to our body. That means that my body and that body in the forest, that tree, that beautiful chihuahua is what Spirit wants me to say right now. And I are one. That means that each of us here in this very room and those on Zoom are one. We are in unity. And so this week and this month, I make a new commitment to be the temple, to treat the temple as if Spirit itself is pleased, to honor what is, to enjoy the expansion of greater health because of this new awareness, because that's how it works. To be so grateful so that we build on gratitude and have an abundant experience of wholeness. And anything that is getting our attention with our bodies is to be welcomed. Thank you. What do you have to tell me? Thank you. I honor you. I appreciate the information. I know what to do. And without you, I am not partnering. I give thanks in this moment, overjoyed and rejoicing that I have a new relationship with my body and I am in partnership with it as if and is the divine. The divine. That means me and me as my higher self. And then what happens? I know right here and right now that I live and breathe and have my being in joy. I give thanks for that because this prayer is answered. And please affirm with me in a shout. And so it is. Woohoo! Thank you, my darling.
All right. So I'm going to follow that up with a song about the body. A different song. This is the one from the musical that I told you all about. Just a short recap on that. It's a 13-year-old girl having an existential crisis. She goes out to her backyard garden to just process, and she basically has a magical journey to the very heart of nature and of herself via the connection she has with the elemental beings, the nature spirits. And one of those nature spirits is the male fairy man, Dagoth. He's going to sing to her about her body, the body, and he is representing all of nature and the elements. So a little different take on looking at the body. Your body is made from us, our bodies of the same stuff. Your body is made from us, our bodies of the same stuff. Sodium, calcium, chromium, magnesium, nitrogen, oxygen, iron, and H2O. Don't you know it's elemental? to yourselves, there's a story that they tell. You're elemental. It's elemental. You're elemental. It's elemental. You're
Wow, we're elemental. Who knew? Beautiful, thank you. So now is our offering time. And I don't know about you, but I truly believed I received a lot today and will continue to receive a lot. And so now is our time to give back. So we can continue in these beautiful in-person gatherings and online and on YouTube, providing the gatherings and the services that, I don't know about you, but that really nurture my spiritual self and now my physical self. Lo and behold. So there are multiple ways that we can give. You can send a personal check to the address on our screen. You can go to the awesome website and donate. Multiple ways through PayPal, through credit card, debit card, whatever you choose. And if you love shopping on Amazon like I do, you can use us in Amazon Smile and we receive a small portion of that. I mean, who knew? So please, yeah. And we want to thank our YouTube audience and our Zoom audience also for your kind and generous donations. So please, let's stay together, and those on Zoom, please stay muted as we say our abundance affirmation. Abiding by the law of circulation in heartfelt gratitude, I affirm that I live in a creative and abundant universe that continuously flows in, through, and out as me, expressing as the ever-expanding infinite good. So it is. Prayer request. This is this beautiful resource that we have online where you can go to our glorious website where all things are found and request a prayer where it will be prayed on by powerful people, ministers, practitioners for an entire week. It will be on our altars. So take advantage of this beautiful resource. So now for our announcement, our latest news. Stay tuned. So as you know, hopefully you're aware now that we do meet the first, third, and fifth Sunday in person at the center, and on Zoom the second and fourth Sunday of the month. Please join us. And now on Friday, June 10th, from 6 to 9, we're going to have a patio party. And guess where? Reverend Patricia's beautiful place. So bring a dish to share and your beverage, and you can contact Reverend Patricia at the address below to give directions.
Can I?
Can you give her a second?
No.
For those of you that have been paying attention to the weather, it's due to be like 103 or 105 on that day. Now we have the sunscreen up, we're talking about putting misters in, but I don't think that's gonna happen, okay? So pay attention to your emails, cause I'm working with someone to see if I can sweet talk them into letting us use their pool and turn it into a pool potluck instead of a patio potluck. Because you can always jump in the pool and cool off, right? Okay, so stay tuned. We're going to be gathering one place or the other, and I'll let you know. If you don't think I have your email, please talk to me.
Patricia, you
Yes.
mentioned about this afternoon.
So there you have the latest update. Now we have our book study, and many people here have attended Reverend Deborah Putman's book study, and the one that's coming up is on Visioning by Michael Beckwith. It is, I believe, Saturday, oh no, it's Tuesdays. Tuesdays from 6 to 8. And this month, the Women's our Outreach Committee, we have been supporting through the past quarter, this coming quarter, Women's Empowerment. It's a group that we have supported in the past. It's a very worthwhile place, agency that supports women in finding jobs and maintaining jobs and the resources to support their families. And that is such a powerful, powerful to me mission that they fulfill, and it's much needed. It's much needed. So you can go on our website and donate, and when you donate, if you put in Women's Empowerment, in September we will be gathering all the money together, and hopefully they will be here and we'll present them with the check. Or you can actually send them a check, and if you do mail a check directly to them, can you please put on there that is coming from you as a member of the Sacramento Spiritual Center for Living. And it's important because we want to let people know that we are out in the community supporting everyone. So this is our affirmation. I love it. My body is the house of the divine on earth. Now that's a beautiful gift that we have, not just this week, but for every day of our life. And now, for our benediction. And after the benediction, please, we will have our closing song by Jennifer. So, as we gather ourselves in this joyous abundance moment, and remember as we go throughout the week to honor our body temple, for it is that that has carried and moved us every day of our life in form on this earth. So as we honor our body, tune in and listen to what it needs, what movement, what needs to be released, what nourishes it. That is the gift of divine expressing in, through, in us in our human form. And I love it. I obviously have a lot of releasing to do. So, with that, in deep heartfelt gratitude, let's release this out into the world, in our bodies, and the law that always says yes, and so it is.
So I'd like to close off with this song all about that, love. It's called Love is the Way. And there's a great little chorus that runs through this whole thing. Love is the way, love saves the day. Love, 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 love. That's it. And Steph, bless her heart, is going to sing it, lead you all, but I'll go through it one time with you. Jingle, jingle.